Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. Let's kick off our video with a story that demonstrates how strategic thinking and following the rules can turn accusations of dishonesty into a triumph of integrity and cleverness. But before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button, smash the like if you enjoy the content, and ring that notification bell so you never miss a juicy story. Thieves? Okay. I'm a physician. My coworker is a physician. We practice nephrology somewhere in the USA. We do a lot of visits to dialysis centers along an interstate, 8 of them, and it involves a lot of driving to see the patients while they're on dialysis. The system we work for pays us mileage plus a good salary. Originally, we submitted our own mileage reports, and they always approved them. We weren't trying to maximize the money. We both just wanted about $1,000 a month to offset wear and tear and gas on the vehicle. We were actually just photocopying the same report each month, signing it and turning it in. The original company we worked for was totally fine with this arrangement. Well, the system got bought by another system who apparently believes all their doctors are thieves. We were told we were scamming them, and from now on, a middle manager would be reviewing our billings and using Google Maps to calculate out our mileage each month for us. And this person would make sure we were adhering strictly to their policy for reimbursement. Starts from the office each day, no matter where you started from, doesn't pay you to drive out somewhere if you didn't see a patient, but just went to sign forms for nurses and other stupidity. Now, I don't like being accused of thievery, especially when I was sure we'd been underbilling for the mileage just to keep things easy and simple. These people don't know me, but I had an Excel sheet with all my patients, their clinics, and a schedule to drive out to them and see them all in as little time and mileage as possible. It was really efficient. So I dove into their travel policy and reconfigured my schedule not to minimize mileage, but within their policy to maximize it. As a bonus, the new schedule actually has me home each day for lunch on days I do dialysis rounds, so it saved me a little bit of money and improved my mood. For example, since they start it from the office and end it from the office, no matter where you actually start and end, I start my day at the one close to my house but far from the office, and end my day at the one on the other side of town by my girlfriend's house, where I'd usually hang out after work anyway. Midday, I'd go home for lunch, get a nap or a nooner, and then see a couple people in town, and I'd get paid to drive back and then head out for the regular visits that day. Altogether, my average mileage, far from being less like they expected, is actually 90% greater. And on top of this, they're paying this middle manager to deep dive into all our billing to examine the locations and compile the report. She said just to do our 2, it takes almost 8 hours. An expense they never had before. Can't wait for the update when they decide they want to change the policy for efficiency, aka their own rules are costing them money and they want to change it back. And our second story. Decorate instead of doing my work? Sure. Several years ago, I was working for an organization and they were having their annual holiday decorating competition between the different departments. There were a couple of departments that basically took turns winning every year because a few of the staff there went absolutely nutty with decorating. The departments gave a little budget toward the event, but a few staffers from those 2 departments put in their own dollars on top of the department funds and just created some insane, over-the-top displays. I saw pics from a few years. Some of them were very cool, but also probably took a few staffers a few days to set up, and probably cost at least $500 or more for decorations. That's not counting the staff hours that went into it. So my department had its own new office that year. In previous years, we'd been in a small area behind another department. Some people didn't even know we were there. But that year, we were in a nice office space and on the ground floor. So my executive director decides we're going to compete. I think she just wanted to show off to her boss. So she tells me, OP, since you'll be in the office working this weekend, you can make a good start on decorating the office for the competition. Me, I will be in the office this weekend, but that's because I'll be working on these projects. Remember, we need to be in a good place with these projects before the new year. Boss, well, no reason you can't do both. Spend a few hours decorating and the rest working. I'd only planned to be in the office about 4 to 5 hours anyway, so a few hours decorating wouldn't leave me much time to devote to the projects. Me, I'd like to get these projects to a good place before our holiday. I'm also not much of a decorator. This is actually true. I moved 14 times in about 17 years. I think it killed any desire I may have to decorate. And I'm a tomboy, not very feminine in how I dress or present myself, which I think always bothered Boss Lady, and not very good with decorating. Boss, are you refusing to help your coworkers with this? Note, refusing to help coworkers was a phrase she pulled out most any time someone pushed back on her ideas. She came from the business world to a different industry and wanted to incorporate business ideas that didn't always work. Me. Nope, I'll try to spend some time decorating then. That weekend, I stopped at a dollar store and bought several rolls of wrapping paper, put it on the department credit card. When I went into the office, I spent about 2 to 3 hours wrapping everything I could think of that was a stable object. Wrapped most of our desks, our filing cabinets, some bookshelves, some end tables we had in the front office area, basically making them unusable. Everyone spent the next week not being able to functionally do some of their work because they couldn't get into their desk or filing cabinet. Our office had a very easy week right before the holiday. We didn't even place in the competition. And I heard Boss Lady got scolded the next month by her boss because we were behind on the projects. Stopping the a-hole who constantly takes an off-road shortcut. This takes a bit of explaining, so bear with me. I live in one of those new pop-up suburbs. You know the one, all cookie-cutter houses, nature reserves, and young families. Our suburb has exactly one entrance/exit onto the main road. It's not too bad, but can get a little congested during peak times. I'm talking maybe an extra 5 minutes to your journey. There is, however, a side access gate that looked like it was used as a secondary route for construction vehicles when they were first building the suburb. The side gate bypasses the main entrance and takes you directly to the main road. However, it clearly is not a legitimate road and requires the driver to traverse through a playground. Nearly everyone does the right thing and uses the main road. But this a-hole in a silver Lancer constantly thinks he's better than everyone and uses the side gate every day. I regularly see him jump off the main road and casually cruise through the gate as I and the scores of others are patiently waiting at the legit entrance. I imagine him with a smug smile on his stupid face as if he's just naturally smarter than everyone else. It's especially infuriating as he honks at kids, dogs, and families in order to cross the park with his vehicle as if it's their fault that they're in his way. So I've taken to F with this shortcut. The access road has a gate across it, but it's not locked and left open. Since last week, I've taken to closing the gate and zip tying it shut using about 7 small zip ties at a time. This requires a-hole to get off his car and try to break the zip ties. Hopefully that adds time to his shortcut. The small pile of busted zip ties scattered on the ground near the gate makes me giggle. I, of course, picked them up because littering's for chumps. Yesterday, I decided to escalate and have bought a cheap bike chain, and I'm going to install it tonight. Screw you, Lancer. Update 1. So I installed the bike chain on the gate this evening. It's a cheap 4-combo thing from a supermarket, but it'll prevent him from accessing the gate if he doesn't have bolt cutters with him. I didn't want anything too hardcore in case emergency services needed access. The gate has a simple latch system built inside a box. I left the combo lock with 0000 on the dial and carefully placed the tumbler inside the box so it would be evident if anyone tampered with it. I'll check on it tomorrow. Update 2. I went and checked on the gate this morning. Someone has definitely tried to access the gate, unsuccessfully. The bike chain is completely taut and the gate is swung partially open to the maximum width of the chain, as if someone has tried to break it by pushing against the gate. The tumbler's been messed with too, as it's now on a random number. I imagine he tried to get through, got frustrated, and had to go around the proper way. Final update. So I checked again this afternoon, and my bike lock seems to be working for now. I didn't see the silver Lancer today, nor was my lock tampered with. So, victory? I had also filed a report with the local PD yesterday afternoon. The dispatcher seemed not very interested and suggested I contact the local council. They have an online form which I filled out this morning at work. Here was their response. Response by email. Subject matter expert. Traffic operations confirm receipt of your email. We've placed a record of your concern on our database recording system and will take any action deemed necessary ASAP when our resources permit. So yeah, I don't think it's a priority for them. Hopefully Mr. Lancer's worked out that the shortcut is now a longer viable option. Thanks, everyone. Not defending the guy, but that sounds like a terrible design on the part of the builder. Or not likely the cheapest option. There should never be daily 5-minute traffic jams just to leave the subdivision. And our last story. My neighbor is stealing my electricity. A bit of background. My property is one of 3 outbuildings that were converted into homes around the farmhouse they once belonged to. Since I bought it 2 years ago, my electric bills have always been high, mainly due to the electric heating system installed, which feels like burning 20-pound notes to heat the house. Over the last 2 years, I've installed a new heating system, added insulation, and implemented other electricity-saving devices. Despite these improvements, I still can't account for up to 5 kilowatt hours of electricity usage per day. Last week, I tripped the fuse in my shed. When I checked the fuse box, it was the fuse marked garage, not shed, that had tripped. This prompted me to do some testing. When the shed fuse is switched off, everything in the shed loses power, but my mysterious high electricity usage continued. Feeling puzzled, I decided to dig deeper. I checked all the circuits and realized that the garage fuse powers not just my shed, but also part of the old farmhouse. It seemed that some of my electricity was being used by the farmhouse, which was why my bills were so high despite my efforts to cut down on usage. I reached out to the farmhouse owners to discuss the situation. At first they were skeptical, but I showed them the testing results and how the circuits were connected. They agreed that something needed to be done. We contacted an electrician to rewire the circuits properly. The electrician confirmed the issue and reconnected everything so that my shed and the farmhouse were on separate circuits. He also ensured that the farmhouse was no longer drawing power from my property. After the rewiring was complete, I noticed an immediate drop in my electricity usage. I even received a refund for the overcharges from my electric company after they reviewed the situation. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.